Aloha and welcome to another Monday Mix Plate. Today I thought we'd talk about Sunny Ruckus. Sunny Ruckus is my little soap and candle company. I thought I would tell you about the new products or reimagined products that dropped June 18th. I have 6 soaps and 13 candles, and I thought I would kind of take you along as I talk about these products and what I learned my first year selling soap and candles. And so I tried to timestamp it so you maybe didn't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to, but I couldn't, and it kept getting interrupted, and so I'm just gonna verbally vomit right now. Alright, let's start by talking about Dawn Patrol. Dawn Patrol was the first recipe I wrote on my own, and it is by far one of my most beloved bars. It's the most requested, the most complimented. It's gorgeous. It feels amazing in the shower. It has a heavy hand in mango butter, and yeah, I've made the recipe so many times that it feels just like second nature. It's so much fun to make. And so what I was trying to do last year was make limited edition releases and make new recipes every time I released a limited edition offering. And that got really hard really fast because it's harder than you think to write a good soap recipe and test it to the extent that you know it's gonna consistently perform. And that's really the only way that I can do things. And so I just felt myself getting so overwhelmed, and so the joy was just getting sucked out because, like, you have, in the process of creating a new recipe, like, there's a testing phase, there's trial and error, there's like gigantic soap volcanoes of things that don't work, and that just was getting really costly, like emotionally, and you know, it's just hard to sustain a business that way. And so what I thought about doing was creating 4 core recipes for right now, and altering the things that I mix in and the scents, and that way when consumers purchase soap, they know that it's going to perform a certain way. And then I can also have times to do other things like market the products. Like, I would basically not update the Instagram until I was ready to do a release. I would do one photo and be like, it's open, and send out one email, and then I just didn't have time to do anything more. I didn't have any time to go to any markets. I didn't have any time to do any wholesaling, and it's hard to sustain a business just hoping that your YouTube crowd will buy soap. And so I was like, you know, we're making this gigantic move to Florida, and I've looked at all these different things that I can do as a part-time job, and I'm like, you know, I could just put all this time and energy into Sunny Ruckus, into developing like a strong brand. And so that's what I did for the last 4 to 5 months. I've just been focusing on like really fine-tuning these 4 recipes to be really consistent. And so I took the Dawn Patrol recipe and I changed the Goofy Foot recipe, so the base recipe is basically the same, and I'm calling that the butter blend base. And that is super creamy, but with a really fantastic lather. And so this has red palm, this has tamanu, this has orange peel, this has spirulina. But the general feel in the shower is the same. And that makes me really happy because, like I said, that recipe is really fun to make. So I enjoy making it, and I enjoy the feel in the shower. I've tested it for 3 years now, and so I know it's just a fantastic recipe. Okay, so then we have the gentle recipe. And for me, the gentle recipe is just by far one of my favorites because it has 2 of my favorite things, castor oil and cocoa butter, and just a splash of jojoba. So it has this luxurious feel from all the cocoa butter, but it has this gorgeous lather because of the castor oil, and it doesn't have a high cleansing factor. So you get all the feel of soap without this high cleansing strippingness to the skin. And so I reworked the scents on all the bars of soap, and I'm just really pleased with the way they all turned out. And so that was one of the other things that I did, is that everybody says they want unscented products, but nobody really wants to buy unscented products. And the minute you try to hand somebody something, the first thing they want to do is kind of smell it and connect to it. So I worked on all the essential oil blends, and basically what I did is I translated those blends into candles. So all the essential oil blends in the soap have a matching candle. And because it's, again, like, you can tell people that fragrance oil is safe. Like, a lot of the preconceived notions about fragrance oil aren't there anymore because we're like 7 to 10 years into clean beauty. Like, fragrance oils have really been cleaned up, but it doesn't matter. People want essential oil candles, and you can tell them they're not going to fill the room. You can tell them they're going to be more expensive, but people just still want essential oil candles. So I was like, I'll make essential oil candles. And the essential oil candles are really fabulous. And so when you look on the website, all the soaps have a matching candle, and that's how you know those candles are made with essential oils. So anyway, I digress. Let me get back to the soap. So then we have the 100% coconut oil bar. I know people have a fear of coconut oil, but I just wish I could send to anyone with that fear a bar of this soap because it's just fantastic. It's just utterly fantastic. There's a way to make 100% coconut oil soap that feels really luxurious and creamy. This has coconut milk and clay and just a gorgeous essential oil blend. And it's infused with rose hips and hibiscus. Like, it's just a beautiful bar. Anyway, okay. If I could just make 100% coconut oil soap, if I thought people would just buy that, I would, because I like making that recipe the absolute most. It's so much fun to make, and it's absolutely my personal favorite to use, specifically this bar, the shark bait. Okay, and the fourth recipe is what I'm calling the balanced base recipe. The Sunny, the Offshore, they used to have different recipes, and now they have the same recipe. And the reason I like this recipe a lot is it's super balanced, like its name, and it has a high percentage of olive oil, so it's very gentle, but it's also very creamy, and it allows me the freedom to do these botanical infusions into the bar, because olive oil is such a good vector for botanical infusions. So this is calendula and lemon, and this has turmeric and mango ginger, and it's just a really solid recipe. It feels good. It has great oils in it: avocado oil, rice bran oil, cocoa butter, shea butter. Like, it's just, like I said, like, just a truly balanced bar. All right, let's change gears and talk about the candles. So first up, I've had like an interesting time making candles. I started 2 years ago, and I found one particular wax that I liked. I didn't realize there were so many variations on the market, or so many people doing different things with wax, because the wax that I found was just so effortless. But I believe like they changed the recipe or the suppliers. And so last year in December, I started having issues with it doing things that normally it could do. And so I decided to take the last couple of months and try all these other different waxes. Well, a lot of these other waxes were really soft. And here in the tropics, it would be like, you know, 7 o'clock at night, and it would have been hot in the afternoon, and this is in like February and March, and it would already be starting to melt. And so I'm like, I live in Hawaii, I'm gonna be living in Florida, like I can't use a candle wax that like just can't even really stay solid in the temperature that I live in. So I tried other waxes that other people said were supposed to be so fabulous, and just none of them performed like this original wax that I used. So I started to go back to the drawing board, trying to like tweak the wax a little bit by adding in other things. And so one of the things I've added in was beeswax to my soy candles. All the candles have a little bit of beeswax in them. And it's still not 100% perfect. I'm still going to be doing more tweaks on it. I really like where it's at now, but of course I think it could get better. But as of right now, it holds the essential oil scents really well, both in when you're smelling it when it's not lit, and then also when it's lit. So I feel really lucky that I decided, okay, I want to try some essential oil candles, and this particular wax is really well suited for that. And so this particular launch, I'm only doing these 4-ounce travel candles. It's actually 3.5 ounces of wax. I'm only doing these travel candles because I want to see people's response to the candles. I want to see if people like the scents. I'm just really into making candles, and so I want to keep doing it even though the market is so incredibly saturated. This is the Sunny candle, and it just smells like heaven. I can't even stand it. It smells so good. Okay, and the last piece of the puzzle is that I finally decided to work with a graphic designer. So I realized that, like, one of the things about having your own little small business, it's really tough to do everything yourself. And so I needed somebody to help me say, stop tinkering with things, stop changing everything every time. And I needed somebody to help take my vision and turn it into something better. I needed somebody to deal with the logistics of just making the labels. It would be so time consuming, and it was just so worth it. I cannot stress that enough. Like, if you have a small business and you're thinking about doing graphic design, I just can't stress enough like how worth it is to outsource some of this stuff to other people so that it's not just constantly like another thing not working. So anyway, that's that. If you're interested in Sunny Ruckus, I'll link it below. Go pick up a candle, go pick up a soap, and tell me what you think. Thanks so much. Bye.